Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we got ourselves a good old-fashioned comic book haul to share with you guys here today for some indie books, no less. Oh, whoa, 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 I lost everybody now. Nobody wants to hear about indie comic books, but this is going to be a good video. These are some really, really cool, interesting ones to talk about for some books that I've been picking up over the course of the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. I mean, it's not too recent of a haul. Some of them are more recent than others, but I have been, slowly finding these books out there in the wild in the LCS. And now that I have a handful of them, I thought it would be interesting to at least share with them with you guys here today and have a little bit of a conversation of some of these rare indie books and the desirability and the scarcity that they actually have. But of course, before I get into the books, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I would appreciate it. Helps support the channel, doing all those things. But let's get into this video here today. Now, these are some really cool books, very, very obscure stuff that, I don't usually talk about here on the channel, but I thought it would be fun to share with you guys some of these books because, we're kind of in that space right now where people are more interested in the rare, scarce stuff. There's a lot of independent, weird, 80s books and things like that. That people are really into. And there's a lot of comic book history and collectability to talk about with a lot of these books. And the first one I got to talk about right here is actually Funny Aminals, #1, kind of an ensemble story. A lot of the stuff by Robert Crumb. Robert Crumb, one of the great American cartoonists, one of the most unique styles. But what makes this book so special is that this is actually the first appearance of Mouse, written by Art Spiegelman. Now, if you guys happen to know Mouse right here, which I'm going to show you some of the pages, Mouse is an allegory for, the Holocaust. It's become a major graphic novel and comic book series that, everybody talks about. It's on everyone's top list, things like that. It's been, banned in certain schools. So there's a whole thing with this, being this allegory for the Holocaust and stuff like that. And there's just an amazing history with this. And in this book right here is actually where Art Spiegelman did his first rendition of this story, being, him, I think, talking to his dad about it and then translating it into comic book form and having it be done as kind of an animal book right here. And this is sort of the ensemble in which this one comes from. So a really, really cool kind of unique collector item. I mean, Mouse is a huge story. People are already, all over, the current comic books and things like that. But not many people know that the very, very first appearance of that character is from this one right here, Funny Aminals #1. And a lot of the Robert Crumb stuff, like you look back at his art and it is really amazing. Like the evolution of it, the creativity of it, and just how much I think it's been like homage by other independent creators and independent artists throughout comic book history, including this one right here, which I would say probably has a little bit of that inspiration, at least in terms of the art style and the drawing style. But this other one I got is Evil Ernie #1, created by Brian Pulido. First appearance of Evil Ernie, first appearance of Lady Death as well. Really, really cool character. I absolutely love this cover. This is not a book I've ever owned before, but one I've always wanted to pick up. You don't see it that often, at least in my personal experience. I mean, you might see a graded one, at a comic book show every now and again. But as far as like going into LCSs and stores, I've never come across it. And that changed for me, a few months back. I was able to pick this one up. And I was super, super excited when I found it because it's one that I've always wanted to have. Certainly you can buy one on eBay and that sort of thing. But it's more fun to actually just let it find you and come to you and actually have the surprise and delight of getting it in the wild. A lot of people talking about Copper Age horror as maybe being, kind of this thing. Maybe there will one day be this Copper Age craze and Evil Ernie will be, at the top of the list of that. This one is extremely difficult to get in high grade. I think currently on the census, there's only about 1,000 copies that exist. Who knows how many were actually printed? I actually don't know off the top of my head. I mean, maybe, if there's 1,000 graded books, is it fair to say that there would be 4,000, 5,000 copies of Evil Ernie #1? I mean, it was Eternity Press, very, very indie book when it came out. So I have to assume that it wasn't heavily printed. But it is very difficult to get this one in high grade. And I'm going to show you guys why after I talk about this next book right here, which is Evil Ernie #2, First Lady Death cover right there. Even though she made her first appearance in issue #1, this is actually her first cover appearance. Obviously, another cool book in the series. But yeah, the cover art for this stuff is absolutely incredible, especially when you see it in person. I feel like it really, really pops a lot. And I want to show you guys why I think this book is so difficult to get in high grade, or at least both of the books. Let me see if I cannot get my grubby hands all over it. Okay, you guys can see right there. Look at the back cover of this book. All black. The full thing is black. I mean, even though this is a book that came out, in the 90s, I think it was. I mean, right there, this whole black cover. I mean, look at all the fingerprints on this and stuff. I mean, it is so difficult to get this stuff in 9.8 because of that all black cover. And I just want to do you guys a solid here and show you, just because we have to show off a little bit of the artwork here, the line work. I hope my hands are not sweaty. But again, the line work, the artwork, beautiful stuff right here. I mean, look at that panel right there with Lady Death and him getting his face blown off. I mean, look at how cool that is. Incredible stuff coming out of the indie scene, dating all the way back to the Robert Crumb days and Mouse and all that stuff. Even his style was incredible with the line work that they did, and going all the way into, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that stuff. There's always been this super creative through line between all the independent books out there in the comic book market. And speaking of that creative through line, the last one to kind of round it out here, another book that has gotten more hot recently and has had a lot of attention on it because of a few big random sales that happened for this book. But this one right here is Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, #1 by Johann Vasquez. And this right here is the first appearance of the character known as Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Another kind of indie book. I think this came out in 1995 that has 1,000 prints of it. This one right here actually is the first print of this book. And there have been a few recent sales for this one that I think happened a few weeks back or something like that really, really blew up this book. This is one that, again, I've had my eye on. I've always been interested just because of the cover aesthetics. I love kind of the Tim Burton style that this book has. And I happen to have it on my eBay, and I think that there was a key collector notification that went off, this set a new record sale. Then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Everything ended. All the listings ended. People bought it out. And this became a super, super hot book overnight. But a really, really cool story. Very, very dark, kind of nihilistic humor, things like that. But you could see this being some kind of Tim Burton style cartoon or adult movie or something like that. And I think that's probably what it is. A lot of people swooping this up just for speculation reasons. But another really, really cool indie book that I was able to come across, like the Evil Ernies and the Funny Animals. And I think I would just kind of end out the video by saying, some of these indie books, a lot of this stuff has really, really cool collectability, a lot of comic history in them. And, even though I'm still somebody who enjoys, the big two, Marvel and DC, as far as the characters and the comic book collecting I enjoy doing and Golden Age stuff, there's still a lot of these weird kind of strange indie comic books that are still really fun to hunt out there in the wild, that have very, very low census. And as a result of them being really rare and low census, actually command a very, very high dollar amount of value, especially at the high end of the graded comic books. Because, like I said, with the Johnny Homicidal Maniac, I believe 9/8 were selling for $1,500, maybe upwards of $2,000. Evil Ernie #1s in 9/8 selling easily in the $3,000 range. And then even the Funny Animals one, I think a few sales in the mid to high range are, pushing that $1,000 mark. I mean, who knows what you would actually get if you got, some 9/8. I don't even know if a 9/8 exists, random indie comic book from 1971. Really, really hard to find that one in that high of a grade. Anyways, that's all right for this video. Those were 4 indie random comic pickups that I got for $400. I've gone full gobbledygook over here, but the palette has been worn out. I got to find the most random of random books out there in the wild. These aren't even that random. These comics really aren't not even that random. But sometimes you got to spice up your plate and do a different video, talk about different books. Anyways, that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.